subscribe. Darling Radio, like and subscribe.
All right, we're in the building. We are in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause to you. We are indeed in the building, family. How are you guys doing? How y'all doing? Let me know if you guys can hear me good. I want to make sure that I'm heard nice, loud, and clear. If you can hear me loud and clear, everybody give me a thumbs up. Oh, we about to have a lot of people in here. We damn near got 1,000 people in here in the first 20 seconds. It's going to be one of them. I had to get on early. Oh, I had to get on early, ladies and gentlemen. Now, y'all know how I get down before I get cooking. Let me shout out a couple of regulars real quick. I ain't gonna hold you too long. We got Grinders TV, Stephanie Hoodoo, author, Rashonda, cousin Jerry in the building, Melrose Twizzle, brother Dan Re-Ups in the building. We got Soul Food, Austin Gokuda, my brother FBA Furball in the building, and the Tethinator in the building. Respect to the family. Oh man, we got to get into it. Y'all give me a retweet, by the way. Everybody give me a retweet. Everybody give me a retweet, ladies and gentlemen, to let people know that we are indeed live early. And as you know, family, right-wing commentator slash suspected white supremacist Charlie Kirk was killed today in Utah. And I'm not speaking out of turn by saying that he's a suspected white supremacist. I've told him that for years. I've said that directly to him. And really, that's what he's known for. To be honest, Charlie Kirk is not really known for anything else except spewing a lot of anti-black vitriol. What else is Charlie Kirk known for? Okay? But nevertheless, he was out there in Utah at some university there giving a speech. It was about 3,000 people out there. And the sniper was on a roof and let one of them hot things loose and got him up out of here. And well, a lot of people feel a certain way about it. A lot of people have been talking about it. I made a couple of tweets about it. I didn't really clown him, but I asked some questions. I just talked about the irony of it. I had a tweet that went viral. Let me find that tweet. Boy, this is the white supremacists call themselves attacking anybody who has something critical to say about Kirk. They call themselves dogpiling and attacking people. My tweet, let me pull up my tweet. My tweet said, and it went super viral. It says Charlie Kirk goes around campuses talking about how violent black people are. His social media timeline goes on and on and on about how violent black people are. And he's out here in Utah, and in the middle of his speech discussing black gang violence, he gets shot by a white man. Oh, God. Oh, I've been all types of N-words today. I've been all types of N-words, jigaboos. I've been everything. Oh, the white supremacists are losing their mind. We got one up in here now. Hold on, let me get Dr. Davinsky. He's our resident white supremacist. Dr. Davinsky, how y'all feeling about this in Australia? You back in Australia?
Yeah, bro. When I saw that video today, I laughed for like 10 minutes. But look, we can't jump to conclusions. I think there's a chance there was a fentanyl involved, an overdose.
Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh, was it fentanyl?
I
I
think
heard.
it was. I think we have to wait for the coroner's report. I think there's comorbidities that are probably going to come out in future. White people love heroin, so we can't jump to conclusions, Tariq. I think that there's a little gunshot, but really I think that was an overdose. He clenched up. He did the fentanyl fold. You
Oh,
saw it. I
uh-oh.
mean, this.
Hey, man, you never know. So, we're just waiting on all the facts to come through. But yeah, the irony is not lost, family. The irony is not lost. And, I'm not celebrating, but I'm not shedding a tear. Folks are telling us, they're jumping up in our timelines telling us we have to have empathy and, oh, we got to take the high road. Oh, he has a family. Oh, you shouldn't wish this on anybody. Oh, don't be like that. I know y'all not wagging y'all finger at black people. I know you guys are not telling black people to be empathetic towards Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk said himself he don't like the word empathy because he shows none when black people are being harmed. Charlie Kirk's whole career revolves around and it's centered around denigrating black people. That's his career. Charlie Kirk has made a career, and even his organization, Turning Points USA, that's a racist ass organization. Go look up all the accusations of racism within that organization. For years, I've been calling them out for years for their inside institutional racism within that organization. Go look it up. Just Google, just Turning Point USA racism. Yeah. Charlie Kirk, for years, has sat up here and justified the murder and the harming and the subjugation of black people nonstop, going all the way back to Tamir Rice. There's tweets from him from 2013 justifying not Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, I'm sorry, caping for Zimmerman and justifying Trayvon Martin getting hemmed up by Zimmerman. Charlie Kirk, his anti-black racism goes way back. You understand? This man has said all types of vile stuff about black people. Jacob Blake, remember he got shot out there? He was justifying that. Every black person with a decent job is a DEI hire, according to him. He denigrated black women. What did he say about Ketanji Brown and all that, saying that she's the DEI hire, affirmative action, saying that black women, basically, they don't have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. So you got to steal a white person's slot. He said stuff like this. And the repeated lies about George Zimmerman. I mean, that whole George Zimmerman died of fentanyl and all that stuff, justifying George Zimmerman getting lynched, um, justifying Breonna Taylor getting executed, talking about she was a criminal and her thug boyfriend this and thug boyfriend that. So blaming her for getting shot by race soldiers. Come on, this dude has a long history of anti-black racism. He said the Civil Rights Act in the 60s was a huge mistake. So that's denigrating all of us, saying that we don't really deserve rights. He's always talking about the black community's problem is not racism. Oh, it's the fatherlessness in black culture, just denigrating us all the time. These things have real world consequences because he's clicked in with the political machine. So those white supremacist views and anti-black views that he spews, that ends up in policies. See, he's not some harmless troll. This dude is clicked in with the White House, spewing that nonsense. This man also said Dr. Martin Luther King was an awful person and not a good person. He said if he's on a plane and he sees a black pilot, oh boy, I hope he's qualified, is all that stuff. Y'all remember recently there was a flood and some white kids got caught up in a flood and I think they perished in a flood and this dude turned around and blamed black people, talking about the fire chief who was miles away was a DEI hire and he just wasn't qualified and they allowed the white kids to drown. This was a vile dude, man. So for them to expect us to drop down and have empathy, now I have seen some black people, quote unquote, shedding tears. Tethers. Have you noticed that? What tethers? Oh, I've seen some tethers boo-hooing. Some of these foreign Negroes, I've seen some of them boo-hooing about it. So yeah, this is very interesting. I'm looking at the people who are sad about this because we don't owe him anything. We don't owe Charlie Kirk anything. I want y'all to understand something. Empathy is not owed to anybody who showed us none. Charlie Kirk repeatedly denied the humanity of Black victims. He defended the systems that allowed them to be killed without justice. And it's hypocritical for anybody to sit up here and tell us, after they done sat there and watched this dude promote anti-Black narratives, to ask us to show some type of empathy towards him. Come on now, we're gonna have to get deep. We're gonna have to get deep. You spent years promoting racial hostility, and somebody on CNN said it. Some white person was like, yeah, he's been spewing a lot of hate, and yeah, he's been doing all. And then CNN had to go out and make an apology. I guess the white supremacist trolls start calling up there, threatening or whatever. Yeah, the white supremacists, well, they took a big L with this one. They don't like this one. This is a big L. But the thing is, yeah, we're told that we have to extend empathy to Kirk because he got hit allegedly by a white person. And the white supremacists, they don't extend any empathy towards Black deaths. There was no national call for empathy when Eric Garner, he died, and then all these other people, Philando Castile, none of that stuff. Charlie Kirk and those dudes, they use those deaths for political clout. So why should Black people play this whole empathy game by ourselves? We're not doing that. His platform was built on anti-Black messaging. He wasn't just a controversial speaker, because a lot of people are like, well, he was just talking and speech and free speech. This dude helped push policies that harm people in the real world. He always pushed this narrative that systematic racism doesn't exist and that Black Americans, we were somehow entitled and that police brutality was exaggerated. So his death does not erase that. It don't erase that. Let me tell you something. Your death don't sanitize your legacy. I know that we have a thing where people don't like speaking ill on the dead, but somebody who marginalized people as a career, no, we can give an honest assessment of a public figure. We're just giving an honest assessment. We're not denigrating him. We're repeating his words. I put up a picture of, y'all see the picture I put up of Charlie Kirk in heaven with George Zimmerman? No, I'm sorry. I put up a picture of Charlie Kirk in heaven with George Floyd. They giving a fist bump in heaven. All the white supremacists got so mad. Oh, God damn you, Tariq. Too soon, dude. What? I put rest in power. I didn't put nothing derogatory. I put a picture of George Floyd and Charlie Kirk in heaven giving each other the fist bump. Now, what's wrong with that? Huh? They're both in the afterlife. All right. He made a career talking about George Floyd's death and justifying it, and then now look at him. They kicking it. Huh? But listen, you can't demand morality from the people you oppressed. This is the same people, they turn a blind eye to injustice against us and then demand that we take the high road. I've had people say that. You guys should take the high road. High road, hell. That's emotional manipulation. No. You're not going to weaponize morality against us, and you're sitting up here propping up this person who was one of the main oppressors. See, that high road talk, that's a tool of control, ladies and gentlemen. Telling Black people to be better or show grace, that's a little psychological tactic to silence justified frustration. It's the demand that we uphold the moral standard while the white supremacists can be as vile as they want to be without any consequences. No. We don't do that. And again, his death is being politicized, just like he did others. Charlie Kirk politicized every major Black death. He used them to promote law and order, justified authoritarian policies. He tried to erase the systematic issues behind them. So his death is political too. So the irony is not lost. See, they hate that this irony is whooping that ass. And it's interesting. Let me talk to the white people. I know there's a lot of white people in here. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you because now I'm looking at a lot of the white people who are showing all of this outpouring. And I saw some white people in Utah crying. I'm like, Lord, oh, they felt like they took an L, especially some of these moderates, some of these white people who kind of play the middle. Oh, I'm a moderate. I love everybody. But they low key support those racist views. I want y'all to understand something. Some of these moderate white people who act all, all neutral and, oh, no, I don't believe in racism. Oh, we all got to get together and break bread, brother, and all that stuff. Let me tell you something. A lot of them are falling out and they feel a certain way about Charlie Kirk. Cause I'm like, again, Charlie Kirk ain't really known for anything else except his racist ass views. He ain't known for nothing else. What the hell else is he known for? You understand? When he goes to these college campuses, what does the conversation always go to? Every clip I see, you're talking to a bunch of white people, then the conversation is about how black folks ain't shit. How black people are the problem. Black people we're criminals. I mean, that's his platform. The man's last words was him denigrating black people. He started to go in on us in Utah. Somebody asked him about mass shootings, and he was like, well, do we count the gang violence? And then pow, them hot things came through. This man went to the grave denigrating black people. He went to the grave with our names in his mouth. Because, yeah, when you talk about gang violence, that's a euphemism for black. That's us. That's a euphemism for us. You see? So that man took his anti black racism to the grave with him. But the thing is, a lot of these so-called moderate white people who are kind of feeling a certain way about Charlie Kirk, they really feel a certain way. They really feel bad about it. Why? Because there's a shared racial interest and worldview with these people. See, a lot of them, you can't speak as bluntly as Charlie Kirk did. So a lot of these white moderates, you will share the same racial assumptions and anxieties about maintaining your privilege. And his death, it feels personal to them because he was voicing things that they quietly believed, but they avoid saying it out loud. See, that's what they needed him for. See, he was kind of their crash out. Sometimes they need a crash out who would do the dirty work for them. And that was his thing. His thing was he was the crash out guy. He's going to spit that real white supremacist truth. And white society gets to play the good cop, bad cop dynamic with him. See, the white moderates, they play this role of the reasonable face of whiteness while allowing Charlie Kirk to play the bad cop. So he'll take the heat. He'll say the loud part out, the loud part's loud, and he gives the white moderates this plausible deniability. So now that he's gone, see, they feel like they lost a tool that allowed them to mask their own complicity to white supremacy. See, a lot of them, they feel like they've lost a political shield. See, his rhetoric was a protective buffer. See, he absorbed the backlash from the black communities and the progressives, while the moderates kept their little neutral reputation intact. So his absence, it forces them closer to the front lines now. So yeah, you ain't got that buffer. He was a very good buffer for them. Huh? And they would invest in his platform. He wasn't just a rogue loudmouth. He was funded. They funded this guy. And white moderates, they might not have openly supported him, but some of them low key donate to these guys. They donate to the networks and to his think tanks. So his death, that threatens those investments and the machinery that allowed them to quietly back his agenda. And a lot of these moderates, they feel like they've lost control of extremism. See, Kirk was a controlled crash out artist. He was controlled. He wasn't like Richard Spencer went over the top. Charlie Kirk, he was groomed and polished by the think tank, so he knew how not to go full Richard Spencer. They gave him the right talking points to use, the right dog whistles to use. where he would still get criticism, but he wouldn't lose funding like the Richard Spencers and those guys, or the Nick Fuenteses, where you can't get no big money, you can't get no corporate sponsorship like the Nick Fuentes, because he's gone full clan member basically. But Kirk knew how to go right below full clan member. He knew how to um, word everything in a codified way where the white supremacists would kind of get the message. So he would say some outrageous things while the white moderates pretended to distance themselves. Oh God, ooh, that's kind of harsh. We all got to get together. But they secretly agree with that stuff. So without him, that mass slips and they risk being exposed as ideologically aligned with him. You see, and that creates a lot of anxiety and grief over the loss of their buffer. And another thing, man, there's a fear of spiritual and cultural retribution. See, deep down, a lot of these moderates, they fear that Charlie Kirk's fate, they feel that this represents some kind of karmic or ancestral retribution. So his death raises a lot of subconscious guilt about complicity in anti-Black systems. And they mourn him really out of fear, too, because of what this symbolizes. I'm gonna get deep on that in a minute. We're gonna talk about the spiritual element of this. We got 3,000 people in here. Shout out to everybody in here. But again, I don't, I believe people should have free speech or whatever. Nobody's co-signing any political violence, but I'm not shedding a tear. I'm not shedding a tear. And again, they're trying to find the suspects. There were a couple of people that they got. They had to let him go. It was some old white man. They were dragging him around with his pants down. I'm like, good Lord, I know he didn't shoot shit. Then they detained some other white man who had a BB gun somewhere. Um, so this is interesting, just going into how he got capped like that. This was clearly a professional damn hit. Boy, this was professional as hell. Yeah, this wasn't no sitting in the basement type of cat who's just sitting on 4chan. Now, this was some military shit they got him with. That was military like they hit him, that precision long range shot. They hit him from 200 yards away. Dead in the neck. One shot. Damn. That's military, dude. That was military precision. To do that clean, and then got away that clean. Not only is that military, I'm thinking it's foreign military, the way how precise they were with that. That almost gives like Israeli snipers or some kind of Russian or Ukrainian sniper with that kind of damn precision. And then they got away clean like that? Huh? You escape without detection like that? So it was a team working. This wasn't just one person. This was a team of people. It had to be. You escaped that clean? So they had a real good exit strategy to get up out of there. So it looked like they probably had some kind of second team member as a driver or a lookout. Yeah, that wasn't no lone wolf shit right there. It was 3,000 people out there. You hit somebody with 3,000 people out there and you got away? So they must have known where the blind spots were with the cameras. Though they must have done some real serious reconnaissance work out there. And yeah, he got on that rooftop. So, there was some tactical awareness of visibility, line of sight. I mean, the way he got up there, they knew exactly where Kirk was going to be. That dude got lined up with a straight shot. When you look at some of the aerial maps of it, oh, it was a straight, clean shot on that roof. So yeah, they knew what they were doing. They knew what the hell they were doing. Yeah. They knew the height advantage, they knew the escape options, they knew the stairwells and ladders, the adjacent rooftops. Yeah. And the timing with no civilian casualties. Perfect precision timing, only to shoot Kirk and nobody else. One shot. There's 3,000 people out there. Nobody else got hurt. That was a professional. So that shows these people rehearsed that shit. They've been planning on this. This wasn't no fly of the moment. They've been planning on hitting his ass. This is something that they must have been planning for a minute. That's consistency with some kind of military or paramilitary operation. Yeah. And they knew there was no active gun battle. The shooter wasn't intercepted, so it was done so quick. They knew how to. They had a certain level of confidence where they knew how to coordinate everything correctly. Yeah. Let me get Great Black Shark in here. Great Black, what's up, brother? Great Black, what's up, bro? I'm mute your mic. Yes, you are. Go ahead, brother.
Back you up on what you were saying there. You're absolutely right. Whoever hit Charlie Kirk was military trained, because for those that have never served in the military, I want to back you up on something you're saying. Family, a lot of times, and anybody that's in here that's ever served in any branch of service knows this. Snipers work in two-man teams more often than not. You have a spotter and a shooter.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that the spotter might have been somewhere ground level. They probably had some type of communication device to let him know when would be the best time to take the shot. Like you said, one shot, one kill. The minute I saw that, I was like, yep, he ain't going to make it through that. But
Yeah.
I shall not mourn him, because I don't owe these people, these white supremacists, any sympathy that they don't grant towards us. They celebrate when our children are killed. They celebrate when our elderly and infirm are killed. They justify all of these evil acts, talking about the blacks, the blacks, the blacks. But as we see, this is from his own community.
Mm-hmm.
Most black people wouldn't go after him. They would just clown him. But we don't kill each other or anybody over any political beliefs.
Right.
And I'm going to say this in closing, good brother. Black folks, I know the hard-headed tellers, because I seen Myron Gaines and a couple of them whining and crying over this.
Oh, yeah.
They better stay out of this, because what we're about to see, we're going to see a lot of liberals and conservative extremists going back and forth, blood for blood, because no matter how much a lot of us might have despised Charlie Kirk, he meant something to somebody over there. So it's not our fight. All we worrying about are our reparations and our anti-black hate crime bill. Let's let that white on white crime work out itself. That's it. I'll end.
Yes, indeed. And out here in LA, Ben Shapiro was supposed to do a speech over not too far from where I am, over in Simi Valley. They canceled that. Yeah, they announced they had to cancel that. I saw that on the local news here. Myron Gaines, they're canceling some of his appearances too, because Myron Gaines is shook. Because he does the same thing. He goes on these campuses, talk that dumb shit. And Myron, he did a broadcast earlier whining about me because of my tweet. No, y'all trying to focus on us. See, a lot of these people, they're trying to deflect onto black people. You notice that we don't have anything to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. That this was in a white ass state, white ass city, white ass campus, and got shot by a white ass man. And these folks are all online whining about black people and how we should react to it. You notice that? All they're doing, they've been online all day talking about N-word, N-word, N-word. Oh, y'all better not celebrate, you N-words, telling us we shouldn't celebrate and we should have sympathy and we should have empathy. Their whole thing is whining about us. Now, why are they irrationally blaming black people for this stuff? See, that's a deflection from that intra-group violence. See, these white supremacists, they struggle to process white on white violence because they're so used to sitting up here pathologizing any black crime. So, and by the way, there was another shooting. Some white kids shot up a school in Colorado around the same time. So they just been capping all damn day. You understand? They've been so busy trying to milk that North Carolina story of that mentally ill black dude who allegedly stabbed the Ukrainian woman. They've been trying to milk that so damn heavy and ignoring all of this other stuff that's happening in their own communities. But the thing is, when people from their own political or cultural sphere do something, blaming black people is like a coping mechanism to externalize the violence, so they can try to keep the illusion of white moral superiority intact. And also, there's a lot of ancestral guilt. Subconsciously, they sense that the violence within their community is a spiritual consequence of their group's historical injustice, particularly against Black people. So rather than them confront that ancestral karma, see, they want to project blame on the Black people and use us as scapegoats so they can avoid dealing with their own legacy. And Blackness has always been the universal political scapegoat. See, we're always the default scapegoat. Even if we had nothing to do with anything, you know, the image is politicized and weaponized. You see, there's a historic pattern dating back to Reconstruction, Jim Crow, where blaming Blackness was a tool to preserve white unity during white crisis. I talk about this all the time. Anytime people in the dominant society are having some kind of crisis, they got to drag us into it somehow. Just like with Israel Palestine, they keep trying to drag us in it because we have to be the scapegoat. That's why certain Black folks who spoke on Israel or Palestine or whatever, they started focusing on demonizing that Black person. What's her name? What's her name? Cory Booker. What's the sister out there in Minnesota, not Minnesota, Missouri? She got thrown under the bus by the Democrats because AIPAC and those guys were upset with her because I think she supported Palestine. So yeah, they wait for us to take a side and try to support some type of entity so they can start demonizing us. And this is how they all get on code with each other, by using us as the scapegoat. And also, there's another thing I want y'all to understand too, because yeah, we're not supposed to sit there in judgment when they're doing stuff to each other. See, there's a myth of what I call the unworthy witness. See, the white supremacists, they believe that Black people, we're not allowed to observe white downfall or white suffering without consequence. See, if a Black person publicly comments, mocks, or kind of shrugs our shoulders about the death of a white person like Charlie Kirk, they see this as an attack because they believe Black people, we're supposed to remain these submissive onlookers. Don't you take glee in that. It's that whole Jack Johnson thing. When Jack Johnson used to beat white boxers, they were like, "Oh, don't you smile. If you knock a white man out, don't you enjoy it. Don't you sit there smiling now." And when Jack Johnson would knock out white fighters, the white community would go out and what would they do? They go out and lynch people. Lynchings. Every time Jack Johnson would fight and beat up somebody white, they'd go out and lynch a Black person somewhere. So it's a real weird coping mechanism where when they feel like they take a loss, they have to go out and attack us somehow in order to feel superior. They have to feel like the white victim so they can have white unity. See, that's a psychological tactic. They turn the death of a controversial person like Charlie Kirk into a rallying cry, not against the white shooter. They ain't really tripping on him. It's all a Black society. How are we reacting to this thing? See, they need that artificial unity. Yeah. And then they try to use the idea of Black hostility to sidestep internal critique. And they project all of this resentment towards Black progress. See, Charlie Kirk, he's pushed this anti-Black narrative for years. He's pushed anti-Black narratives, anti-Black policies, and for some, his death, it kind of represents a divine irony. So instead of them admitting that Charlie Kirk's rhetoric might have fueled violence or division, his supporters want to lash out at Black people for, quote, celebrating his fall, as if Black people have no right to emotionally process what's happening. Yeah. Let me get some more people in here. We got a lot of folks in here. Let's get Kevin Class. I think that's your name. Mr. Kevin, hop on in, sir. Mr. Kevin, you want to unmute your mic?
Absolutely.
There you go. What's on your mind, man?
Well, I was just listening to what you were saying, and who's attacking the Blacks in this situation? I didn't realize there was an issue.
Are you serious? Have you seen some of the timelines?
Well, I mean, but who are these people is what I'm trying to refer to.
I guess they're...
It's not your normal white dude that just loves all Black people and love people, all over the world. These are the same people that are trying to, spread rhetoric and caused the issues. It's the same people that are caused. There's no problem between white people and black people that I've always seen. It's the people that are pushing that narrative that's the cause of all that.
And that would be Charlie Kirk, sir. He was the one pushing that. Right?
Well, I mean, this depends on how you see what was said. Explain, please.
Let me ask you, did George Floyd die of a knee to his neck or fentanyl?
That's not for me to say.
Okay, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem, sir.
Well, but why would I say either way?
Because
I wouldn't say either way because if I don't know, I wouldn't say it.
because it's clear. We saw what happened. The man was killed. All right. Anything other than he was killed is I'm white and I say so, which is an extension of white supremacy, which is what he pushed. And that's the problem. You understand? All right. All right. Thank you. All right, now we've shown where your mind is. Okay. It's not I don't know. No, no, no. It's not I don't know. When you're running around here and a black man was lynched by a race soldier cop, and you're running around here talking about he died of some damn fentanyl, that's called white supremacy. That's white supremacy. And if you agree with it, you are suspected of being a white supremacist too. That's how that works. Let me get Adonis in here. Adonis, I ain't seen you in a minute, brother. What's going on? Brother Adonis, where you at, man?
Hey, so I've got so many clips of this white supremacist basically saying that we were better off before the Civil Rights Act. We were better off as slaves. George Floyd was, a thug. Like just basically denigrating black people. He ran around to schools as a predator, trying to indoctrinate impressionable freshmen and sophomores into the system of white supremacy if they weren't already captured. This man was a terrorist. And the fact that our president, or y'all's president, because this is not my president, is trying to turn this man into a martyr tells you exactly what type of time that these white people are on. These people are demons. This man was a demon, and as far as I'm concerned, he's burning in hell
Mm.
with Ashley Babbitt.
Oh, boom. And you know what? Yeah, Trump is talking about having some flags, half masks. Man, please. I'm not about to honor no damn Charlie Kirk in the name of Americanness. No, absolutely not. I am not about to honor somebody who sat up here talking about a man who was lynched out of some fentanyl and Breonna Taylor, she was a thug and her boyfriend was a thug. No, I am no, 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 no. And I'm not obligated, and neither are you. Shar, what's up, Shar? Miss Shar?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a mic. But yeah, this touches on the point that I wanted to kind of hone in on too, that how black people have been so empathetic to everyone to our detriment.
Yes.
And this is why they come so hard this way, because this is how it's been for generations. And now our empathy has boundaries, as it should at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to continue to hold the ground, understand the bigger picture, what's really going on, and see everything for what it is. So I definitely agree.
Thank you so much, dear. Let's get what's your name? Guzzles. What's up, Guzzles? Mr. Guzzles. Okay, I don't want to keep repeating your name because your name sounds uncomfortable to say. All right, one more time. All right. If you're not ready to get on, do not get in the request queue, please. If you are not ready to get on, do not get in the request queue. Let's get hold on, because I do want to get some new faces in here. We do have a lot of new faces, and I do want to get you in here. Let's get oh, we got a lot of folks in here. Y'all raise your hand if you're ready. Let's try that. Let me see who's ready right now. If you're ready right now and you didn't hit the button by mistake, raise your hand. Let's get Cam the Mexican. He pretends that he's part FBA, but he's really a Mexican. Cam, what's up, Cam? What's up, Cam? Cam, unmute your mic. All right, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to get it. Oh, there he is. Cam. All right. Y'all slowing the game down here. You guys are slowing the game down. Let me get MF. Let me get MF Kush in the building. MF Kush. Let's go. Damn. Okay. What's going on, y'all? Shit. We got a lot of folks in here. All right. Let me try. Let's try Sam. Let's get brother Sam. Sam, hop on in. Sam or Cam, either one of y'all.
Yo, what's up, Tariq?
Sam, how
I'm not, bro. Real quick, I just want to hold on a second. I want to ask you, do you mean sympathy rather than empathy? I don't think empathy is the right word for this context.
no, I think it's empathy, right? Yeah, it's
Fair enough.
yeah, it's empathy. And what's that beeping back there, brother? You building a bomb?
Oh, no. I'm disconnecting the trailer. Yeah, because to me, empathy was just relating to how he feels, considering he's dead. I was like, nah, man, you're probably talking about sympathy as in relating to
It,
the situation or empathizing.
empathy is basically
I'm sorry, I said that.
understand and share the feelings of another person. That's empathy.
Right, but him being dead, that wouldn't really work with it.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just playing semantics. I don't know,
yeah,
bro. I thought
yeah.
so.
It's empathy. It's sympathy
But yeah, fair enough.
is like you feel bad, but just empathy is you like you understand or you have some kind of feeling for somebody. I have neither, so I have neither sympathy or empathy. So whichever you want to choose, I ain't got it. So let's see who else we got. All right, yeah, whichever one you choose, I ain't got it. I ain't got neither one. All right, let me get some more people in here. Let me get brother Dan in here. Let's get Dan in the building. Brother Dan, hop on in.
How you doing, Flex, man? You doing all right?
Good, brother. How are you, Dan?
Honestly, he should have ducked. But nah, jokes aside. Jokes aside, man, Charlie Kirk, he made a living off stoking the flames.
Yes.
He was a very privileged individual. The one time his privilege could not get him into a place, he blamed black folks. He actually wanted to go to West Point, and he wasn't good enough to get in. He somehow found a reason to blame black people for it. Me personally, I don't. Unnatural loss of life is unfortunate under any circumstance. However, this is a man who made a killing, no pun intended, off talking about Black death.
Yeah.
He would go out his way to racialize anything he got a chance to, and I thought it was poetic. He died from a gang talking about gang violence. So I mean, this is one of those things where we're not laughing at the fact that he was murdered. We're laughing at the fact that the irony of him, his last words being a stain, a shot at our community. The ancestors aren't playing around, so he should arrest. I heard they coming out with bulletproof turtlenecks in his honor,
No,
so should have ducked. Stay sharp. Shout out to Average. Peace.
my brother. Thank you. Let's get who is this? Mr. What's your name? Mr. Thomas. What's up, Mr. Thomas? Mr. T?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. Not much I could say on the sympathy or empathy. I really don't care. Honest
Mm,
opinion. That's it.
there you go. There it is. Now, brother Dan talked about the ancestral energy. That's another component to this thing, family. Can we touch on the ancestral energy about this thing? We got to get on this. This is one of the reasons I want to. Can I get a little deep? I don't want to. I try not to get too heavy, but I got to get a little deep on it. I got to get a little deep. Um, a lot of the white supremacists, they're focusing on us because they understand the ancestral retribution spirit. They understand it. You understand? They hope we don't, but they know. I want y'all to understand that I've been telling people that the ancestral energy now, the spiritual energy, is very retributive. It's a retributive, justice seeking energy that's out here right now. Boy, them black ancestors, they're not really playing around. You understand? I want y'all to really feel me on this. See, spiritual justice, that transcends flesh and blood. See, white supremacy, they operate in the physical realm with laws, chains, bullets, propaganda. That black ancestral energy operates in that spirit realm. It's timeless and boundless. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we see plantations set on fire. We see floods wipe away old plantations and lightning strike down plantations. We see white supremacists like Hulk Hogan kick the bucket after their career falls off, after they've denigrated our lineage. See, when that spiritual debt accumulates through centuries of anti-black hatred, the energy has to balance itself. The spirit of the enslaved, the peoples whose bodies were beaten, hung, violated, they cry out for correction, family. And that energy, it finds vessels. And sometimes, family, that energy can even tap into some of the white people. Sometimes that energy finds a John Brown entity out here, family. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes that energy might find a John Brown entity to kind of act through, to carry out some ancestral retribution. It's heavy. See, sometimes the ancestors might speak through the unwilling. Sometimes justice might not come through conscious warriors, but a lot of unwitting vessels, people who don't even understand that they're acting out a cosmic script. You understand? So people look at the optics of a white man allegedly killing a white supremacist. It might seem ironic, but that's still retribution ancestrally. Because you got to understand, some of these people, they might have a conscience, and the ancestors look for a conscience. That's what the ancestors look for. They look for righteousness. And sometimes, even these people in the dominant society, they get a conscience. They start thinking and saying to themselves, oh, this white supremacy is wrong. This subjugation is wrong. You start getting a certain level of consciousness. And then the ancestors will say, hey, okay, this might be somebody I can kind of whisper to and have them produce some justice too. Yeah. See, sometimes karma doesn't discriminate by skin. Yeah, only by intention. See, spiritual retribution doesn't care about, you know, where it's going to get justice or how it gets justice. It's going to get justice. It's all about moral frequency. And the blood of the enslaved people, that transforms into an energetic force. So that energetic field, it just doesn't inspire black people to rise, but it causes white systems to collapse from within. It starts to compel betrayal and infighting and even destruction among the oppressor class. Yeah. So a lot of the white on white karma, that's often triggered by a lot of black ancestral spirits. Just like hurricanes, they're fueled by those slave passages. Dick Gregory talked about hurricanes usually travel in the same path that slave ships travel. That's energy karma, and it hits those first slave ports. Those are the main places it hits. It hits the first slave ports. See, karmic storms, they're fueled by spiritual injustice. So a lot of white on white violence, it might happen in the context of white supremacy. And many people don't realize that the black ancestral spirits are the unseen catalysts whispering in the minds of the disillusioned. You know, Going back to John Brown, y'all got to understand John Brown, the sister, it was a black woman who kind of put a battery in his back. For those who don't know, John Brown was a white man who led an insurrection. It failed, but he tried to lead an insurrection during slavery against slave owners. And it was a black woman, a foundational black American sister, who was in his ear. A root woman, by the way, Mary Ellen Pleasant from out here in California. And she was funding him too. She was a rich sister too. But she was kind of putting that energy in his ear, you see. Oh, it's some deep stuff out here. And listen, I want y'all to understand a lot of spiritual energy, it redirects violence back to its origin. See, energy can't be destroyed, it can only be redirected. So a lot of that anti-black hate that Charlie Kirk and others like him, you pushed on the world, it didn't vanish. That shit boomeranged in an unexpected form. And that shit circles back, sometimes through white hands. That's why y'all notice a lot of killings in the white community come from white supremacists. Y'all notice that? Just like the that trans person who shot up the school not too long ago. And not just him. You look at most of these mass shootings in the dominant white society, it's always somebody with white supremacist views. They got some manifesto spewing some white supremacist nonsense, And then something happens and the ancestral energy turns on them and then they implode on themselves. Always happens. But I want y'all to understand the ancestors, they often use irony as a spiritual weapon. See, there's a long tradition in our ancestral history where we've used irony on their ass. Slave owners dying from the very herbs of their enslaved, races being saved by black nurses. That's an irony there. Yeah. The white supremacists being undone by their own people. So that's a signature move of the ancestors. See, the retribution is it's a poetic, humiliating thing for the offender. You sitting up here talking about how violent black people are and you got to stay away from black people. You make a platform talking about how black people ain't shit. Black people are less than. If you hire a black person, that's a DEI hire. They're not qualified. Stay away from black neighborhoods. Watch out when you see the blacks. All black violence. All the 13% of the population. Nah, 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 nah. And then you get taken out in a white city at a white university by a white man. That is poetic irony and it's symbolically devastating. That's why a lot of these white supremacists out here feel a certain way about it. Let me get some folks in here. MS Kush, you in here? Hold on, let me try MF Kush again. MF Kush? MF Kush, hop on in. All right, Kush, where you at? MF Kush, MF Kush, MF Kush. All right, MF Kush ain't saying nothing, so let me try. I can hear you
Tariq,
now,
can you
Kush.
hear
What's
me?
up?
Oh, my apologies. Maybe I need to pay my phone bill. My
I'm good, dear.
apologies.
How
How
are
are
you?
you? I am awesome. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I think it's very interesting that America is asking for Black Americans to have some kind of outrage, but nobody had outrage for Jackson, Mississippi not having clean water. Nobody else, none, the rest of America didn't have outrage for the rest of America or for the experience that we've had here in America. Like, I'm sorry, like, people don't like Black Americans, and
Mm,
it's their problem. It's their problem why they don't like us. I think that they need to figure out their own things. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as Charlie, oh well, just pay me my reparations and go about your day. You shouldn't be talking negatively about Black Americans and expecting us to have sympathy or any kind of empathy at all whatsoever. So,
it is.
oh
There
well.
it is. Thank you so much, Kush. Let's get Paris in the building. Paris?
Hey, how you doing, Tariq,
I'm good,
brother?
sis. How are you, Paris?
Good. I'm glad you came on earlier tonight. That's great. I just want to start off by saying, no, I don't.
I forgot it is. That's right.
Yeah, it is 9/11, and I'm hoping you guys don't forget. The hashtag is never forget, and I lived through that, and it was a lot to live through as a teacher, as a person here in Queens. Friends who went through shit here, it was horrible. And I've seen that on the never forget hashtag, they've now co-opted it for Mr.
Oh,
Kirk.
Lord.
So and I'm asking guys if you could please, when you use that hashtag, please never forget us, because we went through it here, and I don't want them to hijack that whole situation. It's bad that he was murdered, okay, but please keep it for 9/11. We went through a lot, and it's very important that we don't forget. And I just want to say that. And thank you so
Thank you.
much for letting me
Thank you
speak.
so much. Let's get Blessed Finesse in here.
What's going on, brother? Am I audible?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you. Oh,
To me.
okay, okay, yes. On Bless. I'll get you in a minute. Let's get Baron.
Yeah, what's good, Tariq? Man, it's the irony. I know a couple of people have touched on this, but the irony is so thick here.
Oh, yeah.
For the last words for him to utter is gang violence, which was a deflection.
Mm-hmm.
He was being asked a question about mass shootings and gun violence in this country that all of our communities have to ask ourselves this question. And instead of engaging the issue at hand, he throws off on trans people, throws off on black people, and that's the last thing he's allowed to say.
Mm,
I can't get off of how ironic that is. And that's so ironic. I'm like, did they find the person to ask that question to see if he's
mm,
involved somehow? Because you can't even write a story, you know what I'm saying, that's one of those that's truth that's stranger than
yeah.
fiction. But this is what we see a lot of times with white people in our culture. They go around looking for boogeymen. They go around talking about trans people, go around talking about black people, go around talking about the leftists, FBA, this and that, DEI, CRT. When the real killer is on the loose,
Yes.
and they don't want to address the real killer, and he got his last thing was deflecting, and now look at it tonight. The real killer is on the loose. They still ain't caught the guy. Don't know who he is.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, I think it's some foreigners. They probably on a plane up out of here.
I'm no longer musty. I'm no longer musty. Hey, I'm no longer musty. Hey, I'm no longer musty. 'Cause I got my real work on. I'm no longer musty. 'Cause I got my real work on. I'm no longer musty. 'Cause I got my real work on.